Venezuela unilaterally seized and sold American oil.
Did Venezuela really steal oil from the U.S.?
Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it.
And can Trump make its oil industry great again?
We're going to have our United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, spend billions of dollars and start making money for the country.
Back in the 1930s, Venezuela's oil industry was booming, making up 90% of the country's exports. But nearly the whole market was controlled by just 3 foreign oil companies. They were able to extract and refine the oil, which Venezuela couldn't do itself. Over the coming decades, Venezuela began to assume more control over the oil industry, to take a greater share of the profits. It joined the OPEC group with other oil-rich countries to coordinate production and prices. Then came the 1970s oil boom. Prices quadrupled, and many Arab and Latin American countries started nationalizing their oil industries, including Venezuela. Once socialist leader Hugo Chavez was elected in 1999, he further increased state control, demanding Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA, have a majority stake in all oil ventures with foreign firms. Some companies agreed to the new terms, but others, like ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, refused, so Chavez seized their assets. They took Venezuela's government to court and were later awarded compensation for their losses. But after the oil price crash of 2014, Trump's imposition of sanctions in 2017, and the collapse of the country's oil industry after years of corruption and mismanagement, Venezuela was plunged into a deep economic crisis and was unable to make the full payments. Today, Venezuela exports about a quarter of what it used to, 80% of which goes to China. Much of its oil infrastructure has fallen into disrepair, and nearly 8 million Venezuelans have fled the country in search of a better economic future, creating a real brain drain. While building up pressure on Maduro in recent months, the US has also been talking to his vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. US officials had been impressed by her ability to stabilize Venezuela's economy after years of crisis and steadily grow the country's oil production, believing she might be able to protect future US energy investments in Venezuela. Now, this isn't really regime change. Rodriguez has shown a united front with senior Maduro security figures, including Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello and Defense Minister Vladimir Pedrino Lopez, whose paramilitaries are still roaming the streets. Trump seems to have decided that any real political transition would create too much instability, and that forcing the government to open up its oil industry and distance itself from US rivals is a safer bet. To get there, he's kept a naval blockade on Venezuela's exports and threatened future military action unless Rodriguez meets his demands. In response, Rodriguez said she's ready to work together on a cooperation agenda with the US government. But she's not the only one he has to convince. Trump has told US oil companies that they won't get compensation for their assets unless they invest in Venezuela's collapsed oil industry.
Drill, baby, drill.
So far, this isn't exactly an appealing offer. Fixing broken infrastructure would cost over an estimated $100 billion and a complete overhaul of Venezuela's state oil firm PDVSA. Venezuela produces thick, low-quality crude, which is extremely difficult to extract, refine, and store. And with oil prices below $60 a barrel in a saturated global market, it's unclear how profitable that investment would be. Above all, Venezuela's political future seems highly uncertain, putting the stability of any investment into doubt. The US has sidelined Venezuelans' political hopes, most of whom voted for opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez in 2024's elections, and instead kept the door open to future action. Rodriguez is the interim leader for now, but if she upsets her allies in the country's military and security forces, another coup could oust her and reshift control over the country's oil industry yet again. For now, Trump is eager to make the plan work, and some investors have started raising funds to do so, including former Chevron executive Ali Moshiri. So rather than regime change, is this a regime reshuffle? And if so, who could be next?